everyone, this is Kelly Moe. Thanks so much for tuning in to this care package. This care package, I wanted to talk about communication with your loved one. One of the things that sparked this thought in my head was actually this lyric from one of my favorite Christmas songs.
Baby, do you recognize me? Well, just in here, it doesn't surprise me.
Oh my goodness, do you recognize me? Wow. To hear this lyric as I'm singing it to my mother who has dementia caught me off guard because my mom, she loves music and, she's been living with severe dementia for over a decade, and a lot of the times music was a way to connect with her because she was still very much active in trying to sing or hum or dance a lot when she heard music. So the Christmas that rolled around shortly after her being moved into an assisted living facility and, I'm playing music, the Wham song comes on and I'm singing, and then all of a sudden I'm rolling into this lyric. I was like, ooh, wow, that is amazing, because I'm not sure if my mom recognizes me. And here I am, I'm trying to sing a song to kind of make her feel better. But then I was like, oh, that series of words could be something that could potentially be a trigger if she's aware of it, that could make her upset. It could make her depressed. It could make her angry. So it was one of those things that happened where I knew that the language that we use around our loved ones when we realize that they're starting the process of losing their memory is it's very tricky on what you say and what you do. I mean, think about the language that you use on a daily basis. You get together with your friends and you're trying to recall certain things, and you're like, oh, do you remember when we did X, Y, and Z? Or do you remember something that we did a year ago? Or, you're trying to give sympathy to somebody and let them know that it's okay. Everything will be okay. Well, when you say things like that to someone who has dementia, I'm sure the way they're receiving it is completely different than it would be if they didn't have it. To tell somebody who is having a hard time and is struggling to remember anything, and you're constantly saying, do you remember this? Do you remember that? And you want to do that, because you're trying to help them massage their memory and to train their memory again. You're showing them pictures from photo albums or whatever, and you say, oh, do you remember so-and-so? I can imagine how challenging that must be and how frustrating that must be. And I witnessed that, and I started catching myself to not say that as often. In the beginning, when we realized that it was official that my mom had dementia, to comfort her, and you say, mommy, it's going to be okay. I was like, wow, that may not be the right phrase I should be using, because maybe in her mind she's like, why are you lying to me? I don't trust you. It's not going to be okay because something's wrong with me and I'm scared and I'm not feeling okay, but you keep telling me it's going to be okay. So I realized I needed to kind of, change my approach on what I would say when it came down to maybe comforting her, maybe saying something more on the lines of, I'm here, mommy, I'm here to support you. I'm not going to leave you. Or if there's anything I can do, I got you. I got your back. Or let me know. As opposed to saying, no, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Because with a disease like this where there's no cure, it's not going to be okay. Everything is changing, and it's unfortunately, for the worse. Another thing that I learned is having to be, really, it's all about patience. And when you're trying to talk with them about things that they want to do, I mean, simple things, for instance, it's time to go get something to eat. Having that conversation where you're giving them lots of options, where, oh, so what are you hungry for? Do you want Italian? Do you want chicken? Do you want seafood? Those are things we normally say on an everyday basis, but to give someone who is struggling to process anything, to give them that many options, I can imagine could be just as frustrating and get them stressed out or angry and agitated. You have to really start thinking about condensing everything and giving either, obviously, always give one question. Don't do rapid fire questions back to back to back. Pause, make sure you give them an opportunity to answer that one question, and then move on to the next question, or repeat yourself if you have to. You yourself, as the one of quote unquote, I guess, sound mind, another strange catchphrase, should just make up their mind for them in a sense of, well, we're going to go here to eat, and order them something that you think that they're going to like. And if they like it, great. If they're not liking it, then you can make a decision and maybe order them something else. But to give them all those options at once has to fluster them. I remember one time I came to visit her and I was going to bring her a treat. She always liked sherbets or sorbets from Baskin Robbins. So whether it was like the rainbow sherbet or the lemon or the lime, and she really liked the daiquiri ice. I bought her a cup of that. I usually do it either for her birthday or on my birthday or Mother's Day. And because it's frozen and you want to feed it to her in enough time so it doesn't melt, here she is, she's enjoying it, but she also has that facial expression of she has brain freeze. And I realized when I thought of that and I said it, I was like, oh my gosh, mommy has brain freeze. And I was like, wow, that's pretty ironic. You're serving something cold and frosty to someone who has dementia and they have brain freeze. So it just made me really think about the terms that we use on a daily basis that end up being very ironic when it comes to people who have lost their way and they can't use their mind. You can't be mindful anymore with someone who has dementia isn't mindful anymore. So this care package today really is just more on the lines of just putting that out there in the universe for you to think about. So when you do start having to have conversations with your loved ones, let them know that you're there to support them, and just start realizing that the words that you use potentially need to be altered. Also, just for you to have a smoother conversation with them, because with my mom, she had different variations of reactions of being frustrated, or I could tell she would retreat or be a little depressed, or she would always use like excuses in the way of not being able to respond properly and say, well, her throat hurt. It was hard for her to talk because her throat hurt. And I was like, I know her throat doesn't hurt as often as she would say it. That was just her defense mechanism of saying something because she knew she didn't have the language to express herself anymore. And it's sad. It's very sad. I'm hoping that, at least this little tidbit and this little story was food for thought. These phrases are a trip for you to, take into consideration when it comes to your care giving to your loved one. I'll be back another time with another care package very soon. So take good care.